Okay, everybody, I'm so excited today because I am joined by Gillian Jacobs and Corey Michael Smith, who star in Transatlantic, which is out Friday on Netflix. How you guys doing today?
Great. How
Very
are
well.
you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I absolutely love the show. I'm excited for people to see it as well. Now, my first question is for Gillian. The costumes of Mary Jane are spectacular. How the hell did you keep all those hats on?
A lot of pins, a shocking amount of pins and secret netting. No, it was a feat of engineering between the costume designer and the hairdresser. They did very good teamwork. But yeah, there are times if a strong wind comes along, you really, you instinctively hand a hat because you don't want it to go flying off. And there are some winds in Marseille. It's actually
yeah.
known for its wind.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. No,
What's it called?
that's
I know I'm thinking of it.
Mistral?
Mistral.
Yeah, there's a special, very strong wind in Marseille that hits right around the time we were filming. So yes, I did actually have to worry about the hats.
Oh, wow. That's a great new thing I learned today. Thank you for
There you
that.
go.
And Corey, how did you go about finding that sweet spot for your portrayal of Varian Fry, meaning like between the real life version, your take, and the book version?
Well, that's really Anna. This is Anna's show. She adapted, the show to meet the needs of telling a dramatic story. Julie's novel, The Flight Portfolio, inspired Anna's work, but she really wanted the focus of the emergency rescue committee to be more holistic. And that meant taking this incredible collection of characters and creating a story where, everyone is sort of feeding into and collaborating together and making everyone's story sort of grow. So, there are some things about Varian's story that are shared with other characters, and it's kind of that way with everyone. An example, Varian Fry worked with British intelligence while he was there. And in our show, that's a major point of conflict between Mary Jane Gold and Varian Fry, because Mary Jane is working with British intelligence, and it really infuriates Varian because it puts the mission at risk. So there's some things that happen in telling story where, especially with historical fiction, where you need to adjust some things. But most importantly, I think the ambitions, the intention of all of the characters, regardless of some things changing, is very honest and true. And that's really what's most important when telling the story.
Yeah, I love that answer, and that's a great point about how it is like a unique take on it, but it keeps that truth there at the center. Gillian, what was the number one trait about Mary Jane you want to make sure you conveyed clear to the audience the most?
These are great questions. I think her desire to help, which I think is both true to the real woman and, the version of her that exists in the show. Both of our characters as Americans in 1940, before the US has entered the war, had the ability to leave at any moment. So they have this unique privilege of being able to leave. And she chose to stay for as long as she could and help. And I think that is a remarkable thing. But once again, as Corey said, that was there in Anna's writing. So I felt free from trying to convey anything to the audience, and I just tried to do my best to live up to the scripts and the real life story.
No, 100%. I love your portrayal of her, and she's so likable, and I love she takes action. So really good job on your part too. And then Corey, I was going to say that people will see in episode 2, there's some really powerful scenes where your character is doing interviews and he gets very emotional. Does doing heavy content like this suck the life out of you emotionally sometimes on set? Like, is there something about that?
I'm still, as an actor, working through my relationship with material, what I prefer. One of the strange things that happens, when I feel like an emotional cost portraying a character, I feel more deeply connected to this person. They feel more real to me. So, when I feel like deeply connected to a character's psyche or their intentions, their ambition, it really sinks into you. It's like it becomes part of your nervous system. And so like characters like Varian really live with you for a long time. And what you're referencing toward the end, well, I guess it's sort of in the middle of episode 2 where he's doing these interviews with the refugees. It's such an important part of the series for me. And I'm really proud of how it turned out with the editing and all of these wonderful, players that came in and are sharing these stories of regular people going through these, this horrendous experience of being displaced. Varian is initially on a mission of helping sort of established, sometimes wealthy, a privileged class of society escape, because these are people that have value to, with regard to meritocracy, going to America. It's okay and allowed for them to go over, but all of these other people are sort of unwanted. These Jewish refugees who don't have status are sort of unwanted in America at that point in history. And he's dealing with this, this conflict of saying, we have a mission. These are people that we can help with the State Department. And Mary Jane Gold is really responsible for pushing him of saying, there are so many more people that we can help that need our help. And it's a moment of internal conflict sort of spilling out of him at that moment. And I think it's a really important part of Varian's trajectory in his evolution.
Yeah, and I love that scene, and it's one that's going to stick with me, and I'm excited for the audience to see, and that's just a great answer going more into it. Gillian, what I love about Mary Jane is her relationship with her dog, Dagobert. Do you get attached to dog actors, and how do you say goodbye?
It's really funny because you're not really allowed to interact with them that much when you're not shooting. So you don't have as much of a relationship with them as you would like a friend's dog that you go over and play with. They're a trained animal who's being taught commands, and you're really not supposed to like mess with them too much to throw them off. So it's a strange thing where you spend much more time with them between action and cut than you do the rest of the time. But that's a pretty cute dog. I mean, if I was a less secure actress, I'd be worried about him stealing focus, because that face, come on. I mean.
Yeah, no, I love it. And there's great chemistry between you and the dog. So props to you. And Cory, I was going to ask you, it's just great party scene in episode 3. There's actually a unicycle that shows up. Did you ever try to get on this unicycle?
No, let me tell you, that unicycle was very tall.
Yes.
The man that was riding that was suspended quite high in the air. In fact, there were a lot of acrobats doing some pretty wild stuff. Yes. It was very, very impressive. People standing on shoulders and heads and flipping around. It was a lovely thing to have so much energy, like circus energy, because we were filming that over the night. So, it's like 4:30, everyone is dead, but we have acrobats going, like losing their minds. So it was nice.
Yeah, and I love you mentioned circus energy. That's really what sums up a lot in that episode, which I think is really cool. I think people are really going to enjoy. Before I let you guys go, Gillian, I have to ask, do you ever tire of all the Brita references that we see like out there, or do you embrace it? Do you relish it?
I absolutely embrace it. I mean, how lucky am I that I was part of a show that people are still talking about this many years later? So that is nothing but good fortune on my behalf. It's the show that gave me the career that I have now. So I totally embrace it. I am Brita for life.
I love that answer, and that's awesome that you're so cool about it. Everybody watch Gillian and Cory absolutely crush it in Transatlantic Friday on Netflix. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I had a blast. I hope to talk to you in the future.
Thank you so
Steve.
much. Great interview. Thank you so much.